Hey everyone, John Newman here. Thank you for downloading this episode of Card Mensches. Myself and Danny Black of Hobby News Daily would like to remind you this is a live show every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It can be found on most of our social medias. Danny's at sportsbalt and Hobby News Daily. I am Sports Card Nation Podcast. And it can be found on our YouTube channels. At Hobby News Daily, Sports Card Nation Podcast, at Sportsbalt, and at Card Mensches. So with that being said, we hope to see you very soon on a Friday night in our very active chat room. Now let's start the show.
Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com. Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com.
Hi, I'm Isaac Albert, a longtime card collector and the co-founder of the Penny Sleever. My wife and I started the Penny Sleever with a simple premise in mind: to offer collectors top quality supplies at fair prices. We offer a full range of hobby supplies, and we'll get them to you fast. Whether you're looking for a 260-point magnetic for that oversized patch card, or a slew of semi-rigids for your next PSA submission, the Penny Sleever has you covered. Shop now at thepennysleever.com and use the promo code SCNation to get 10% off your first order. That's SCNation for 10% off at thepennysleever.com. The Penny Sleever. Top quality supplies, fair prices.
Hi, I'm Danny Black.
And I'm John Newman.
Welcome to Card Mensches.
Well, hello and Happy New Year, everyone. What episode are we on, my friend? Good to see you.
The double nickels.
Ooh, 55.
Correct. That's a basketball term. When a guy scores 55 points, they're like, you dropped a double nickel. So we're dropping a double nickel tonight.
You're better at jersey numbers than I am, but I got to assume that there's some Hall of Fame linebackers.
Well, wasn't like it's not a linebacker, and he just passed away last year. Wasn't Mutombo 55, or was he 50?
I don't know. 55, shout out to Leroy Jordan.
There you go.
Leroy Jordan, what did I say?
Or Hershiser for baseball.
It might just be the Orioles.
Yeah, Joey Porter, man, your favorite.
Oh, I walked into it.
Whose son is now on the team, obviously. Joey Porter Jr. does not wear 55. He wears 24.
What's the difference in their build? I wonder what the difference is. Do you think it's vegetables or just good, clean living? Or
I don't know. Porter's a pretty physical corner. So he's sometimes too physical. He gets too many PIs.
What's up, Ruben, Larry, Barry? Steven, I got an email going out to you. I just got the right address. What's up, Hodges? Thank you for the likes, Hodges. We appreciate it. Yeah, guys, give a like and a follow. Spread the word. Definitely appreciate everyone. You want to tell everybody what we're doing on this New Year?
Yeah, well, first off, happy New Year to everybody in the chat room and you as well, and everyone else maybe listening after. I'm not necessarily a resolution guy, but you were like, hey, let's come up with some of our hobby resolutions. So for me, these are unwritten resolutions, but are now written, which doesn't make them any less viable. I just can remember them without writing them down. Put them down for tonight.
Nobody has to know you wrote them down. It could have been a secret.
Yeah, that's all right. It's probably obvious when I got my digital planner and I'm looking down at it every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. I'm still the old-fashioned pen and paper. Hopefully nobody saw that.
I'm trying to save trees.
You're a better man than I am. What is going on, Warren? Happy New Year. So let's get it out of the way. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to everybody if you're just getting on. I did get my Moberg ones last year, so I did not need another one. Give him the hello to Warren. I'm excited for this. I feel a little disappointed that I don't feel like you're enthusiastic.
Well, mine aren't really sexy.
Dude, nobody tunes in hoping that you'll be sexy.
That's true. So everything's going according to plan.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
All right, I feel better.
Okay. No, we're doing resolutions tonight. We're doing hobby resolutions. So do you want to collect differently? Do you want to focus on something? Do you want to contribute differently to the hobby itself? Do you want to interact differently? I mean, there's a million ways to go with these.
Did you see my list?
Why, you touched on all these?
Almost, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, and I want to hear it from the chat room also, guys.
Sure.
Definitely, if you're focusing on something, especially once we get going, feel free to jump in because I love hearing what people are planning on doing for the year, collecting wise and hobby wise. So, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. The first one is something I did in 2024, and I kind of want to continue it in 2025. And I did a pretty good job. So I don't know how much better at this I can be, but I want to be less time on social media. And I really did a better job in 2024, like spending less time on it. I'm not saying I'm not going to be on it, but it just kind of do what I got to do, like a fire. Get in there, put it out, and get out. And get back to the truck and get back to the firehouse type of deal instead of getting down into a rabbit hole and 3 hours later you're like, what did I do for 3 hours? I really did a pretty good job of that in 2024. I guess it's more a continuation of what I did in 2024.
Well, you can also figure out the best way to do it, whatever works best, and continue to improve.
Yeah, and again, when I say that, Danny, I'm not saying I'm not going to be on it. I'm not going to interact with people or not be, but just, don't overdo it where I'm just losing, lots of time, per se.
I hear you. Ruben, this is one that probably either one of us at one time or another has done or would do. I hear a lot of people talking about it right now. Is to trim down the collection to some fewer, bigger cards. And I think it's an interesting way to go. I definitely can see the way the hobby's going, that you want lower pop cards.
So I'm drinking some Crown and lemonade. So I read that as he wants to trim some Hall of Fame rookie cards.
He does. He actually wants to trim the Hall of Famers. He's giving them the Ozepic. Mark Oil, did I say Happy New Year? Happy New Year to you, sir. Good to see you. All right, so my resolution, I'm going to start with a personal one. I want to get better when I'm at shows about, you're great about walking up to people and talking to them. I have a little social anxiety. I'd like to get a little bit more comfortable walking up to somebody. People may not believe that, but I do like to have an introduction, and I want to be better on one-on-ones. So in the hobby, making friends, collecting with people who are like-minded, meeting more people, stuff like that.
I gotta say, man, you're pretty good at disguising that, because I really don't see that when we're like at the national or some event together. I don't see.
You didn't get. I was holding you around the knee and you were dragging me. You didn't get that?
Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but I mean, I can be shy too if I don't know somebody. So
yeah, fair enough. But I want to make more hobby collectors that collect stuff like I do. I think I need to put myself out there a little bit more. So. I'm not a hardcore anything, so I want to find more people that collect some of the random stuff like I do, and I'll get into that in some of my other resolutions. First Hall of Famer that I would trim would be Greg Maddux. I don't know, I might trim some other Hall of Famers first, but I do love Greg, you might know that. I want to finish a good amount of my Indians team sets and focus on specific players in 90s inserts. I love that.
He'll be battling Chris Harris for those 90 inserts.
Okay, thanks, 661 Fish. Selection on eBay isn't what it used to be. The buy it now on vintage these days is outrageous. Hopefully, we can truly see the true value of vintage and modern patch autos.
I will say this. I don't know how the chat room or you feel about this, Danny. Vintage has kind of come down, not in a bad way, but like there's some deals and I don't want to say steals, but there's some really affordable stuff. Even with Ricky passing away, like the jump that we would see like years ago didn't seem as big. There was a jump. I'm not naive, but it didn't seem like traditionally speaking.
Oh, if I know the hobby, I think come the national, you'll see a good high jump.
Yeah, but that comes with the territory.
Absolutely. Hodges, thank you. Enjoyed meeting you at the national as well. Yeah, what can I say? I try to hide it. Coping mechanisms, all that good stuff. Warren, that's what it's all about right there, Mark. Yep, we had a great time at the ball game. Hoyle, you are an encyclopedia of baseball. So if anybody ever gets the time to hang out with Mark Hoyle, I highly recommend.
I got to hang out with him at Cooperstown, but we didn't get to see a game. That would probably have been fun.
It's good. It's a good time. Okay, so that was a little bit of an overshare. So I'm done my number one. Let's get back to the resolutions for the hobby.
All right, this one is sort of hobby and not sort of hobby. I just said more like me time. So like things I do, like pickleball, which I actually haven't played in like 4 months, and just making time for some of that stuff. And, as I'm getting older here, I realize like I'm not going to be able to do a lot of this stuff, all the time. So get it in while I can. Softball, which I still play. Pickleball, which I haven't played in 4 or 5 months, but got to get back on that thing. And just be more active too, right? Rather than sitting around or being at a card show, which is nothing wrong with that. I love that too. But, but a little more physical activity, if you will.
We're a card show, right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
I worked it in there.
Yeah. We've got some people dropping in. Orlando, Mookie. Just want to say Happy New Year from John and I, and glad you dropped in. The Godfathers of the chat, they're being called. Orlando, Mookie. I don't know. Can we do a poll on YouTube or StreamYard? I wish we should poll that one time.
Man, the chat room is so great. It's hard to pick one guy out.
Well, that's why I want to let the chat.
I think we're doing like an injustice to everyone else if we ever do.
This one I love. Steven, my resolution is to read more baseball books. I want to learn about the history and players versus just reading the cards. Love that, love that, love that. Although I will tell you, reading the backs of the cards and the stats is I find it fun. But yes, read as many books as you can. If you ever need a list, John and I both have plenty to recommend.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And there's no shortage, obviously. So you can't read them all, but you can try.
And if anybody wants to make recommendations in the chat also, we're here to help each other and support each other. So, the Bubblegum Wars, for Relief, wasn't that?
Yeah.
Yep. You did a great job with that.
I didn't write it.
No, not that. I'd like to credit John Newman for writing War and Peace. He also wrote the autobiography of Helen Keller. Yes. No, I meant that you did a great job.
I know what you meant. I was just being, my humor.
Why haven't we written a book? You know what? Nobody reads books anymore.
I honestly, with some of the stories and stuff, people have told me you should write a book, but I just don't think other people find some of the stories I tell more interesting than I myself think they are. So I don't know.
John doesn't write the books; he just makes them sexy.
Listen, I guess there's worse things in life.
And yet we were just talking about reading about stuff in books. Yeah, absolutely. I played that both sides, Ruben. You're right. We can't both read books and not read books. So I'll take the read book side, and I'll move back over there. All right, my turn for a resolution.
I don't know, but you can go. You can go.
Okay.
I'll go after you again.
Orlando, I just want to take a second to pay respect to this. The Ken Burns documentary. Sit down and enjoy it one time. If you haven't done it, it's worth it. And then do it 12 more times.
I've seen it. How many hours is that, though? I wasn't keeping track. Like,
It's like 12 hours.
I already spent it, but
Yeah.
if it's on, I watch it again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I watch it, yeah. No, I love it. All right, my resolution is I'm working on the 57 set, but specifically, I want to get 2 stars this year and 1 or 2 more checklists. I'll build up the commons and I'll work on that in the background. But I'd love to maybe kick it up another notch, and get a couple stars. You know, you and I have talked about a ton of the 57 players I've looked at. But I love the checklist. They're hard to find, and you got to really look for them. Most dealers don't put checklists out. They're not sexy, and they're usually written on. So we'll see what I can find this year, but I'd love to add more to it.
Yeah, I mean, my one word of advice: go to a lot of the Facebook vintage groups. They sell like lots of 57, actually pretty affordable. I think I've even tried to tag in a couple. I know you don't do Facebook a lot.
I'm like 128 years old when it comes to Facebook. I can't figure out the buttons. I don't know where I am. I keep changing what profile I'm in. I gotta like delete and start over.
All right, we're waiting for you.
Mark Oil says he had someone approach him about the idea of a coffee table bulk on Red Sox memorabilia.
That would be really cool.
That would be awesome.
And I think Mark's qualified to write it.
Yeah, and to be featured. Larry says that there you go. The Ken Burns is 20 hours plus. So I undershot it. It just feels like 12 hours.
I know. Well, you enjoy it, so you're not looking at the clock.
Exactly. I'm sure Greg Moore's cards would have the checklist. Absolutely, Ruben. Definitely one of the places that I will be looking. The prices on them are just silly, and so I go back and forth there. But that's on the list this year. That might be a good national project. As you always use the famous line, if it's not at the National, you won't find it anywhere.
Doesn't exist.
Right. It might be a good place to look for some checklists.
A little embellished. There's stuff that's not there that does exist, but you get the drift.
Yeah. So that's my goal for the 57 set this year is to give it a little TLC and to see if I can kick it up a notch.
Yeah, you gotta do it, man. You gotta set your mind to it and put a dent in it. More of a dent in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
this wasn't going to be my next one, Danny, but piggybacking off that, I feel like I gotta say it now because it'll be a good segue. So I've always joked about this room. It's pretty tight in here. There's not a lot of room. I can't put another thing on the wall. I used to be a set guy. I'm not anymore. But I kind of want to do a vintage set, but not a big one, but maybe like a vintage subset. Something like the 68 Topps game or, not that one, but something a smaller kind of vintage set. Maybe get it all as a graded, 30, 40 card set. I don't want to do a full, 600-700 card. So I don't honestly have the time or the willpower to be honest with you, but something vintage, smaller, that's not going to break the bank either.
Ruben says that it's not your room, John.
Well, it's probably, I agree with him. Between my size and the room size, it just doesn't leave. It's getting a little tight in here, if you know what I'm saying.
I love this idea of you doing a smaller quantity set.
Yeah, I just haven't decided. If I'm up for suggestions in the room, just to get the juices flowing. Oh, the red and blue backs. Yeah. I see Mookie's. Not, it's doable. There's not a ton of stars. It's not.
Where do they price out at?
You can get them. I mean, some are tougher than the other ones. I thought about Orlando. I thought about the 64 stand-ups. They can get pricey though. Especially when you get into the graded ones. 60 Leaf, I'm not a huge fan, but I
I was going to say
appreciate the.
63 Fleer, but I forget if you like it or not.
Yeah, boy. At one time, I used to have so many of those. I don't anymore. They're all great suggestions. I kind of like the 64 stand-ups. I might have to look at that and kind of where the prices are at to see if I want to like even like start that. You know what I mean? Like because
Yep.
once you start it, you gotta kind of I'm gonna complete it. You know what I mean? Or at least go out in a blaze of glory.
Yep. Ruben says 64 Giants is a good one. Barry says, oh, 82 Kmart. That, that's a
I
great set.
I'm laughing because I have 10 of those sets in like a trunk out in the hallway. That's not even. I did it. It's done.
Larry says
52K.
64 Giant Baseball. Orlando 54 Red Heart.
Yeah, that's an idea. The
Um,
Redmen. How about the Redmen? They're bigger, but they're kind of cool. You see them
Warren
kind of
loves the
cheap. At
82
least
Kmart idea.
I got a lot of. 10-year-old John Newman loved that 82 Kmart set.
I think we all had them.
Yeah, I still have them.
Well, that's the difference, John. The Redmans are sweet, Warren says.
Thought about those. You can pick up like I don't want to say no names, but the lesser notoriety players, pretty affordable.
Mookie says, how about one of the Brooke Ross sets?
Yeah, those get expensive.
Quickly, yeah.
Yeah,
But you get a lot of stars in.
yeah. I want to find that middle ground set, one that's not too cheap, and one that's not gonna like empty out my bank account overnight.
How about 84 McDonald's football?
Yeah, and I actually have some of those.
There you go. That would be a niche.
Yeah.
Um,
How do you
Jeff-
think I got this great looking body?
Dude.
From 84 McDonald's football.
I'll keep that one to myself. Jeff's Card Journey says 1960 tops.
I love the 1960 tops, but again, that's that bigger,
Going
bigger
for something a little bit smaller.
Yeah, but I'm not opposed to that. I love that. That would be if I was doing a bigger set. That would be a candidate for sure.
What would you do if you were doing a bigger set?
I like 60 tops, 65 tops. 63 is not bad. We could go into the 50s, but like 53 tops is going to break the bank. Yeah, which I love 53 tops. Notice I'm not mentioning 52
Kellogg's.
tops. Yeah, but those can get pricey, some of those.
Warren says he's working on the 70s Kellogg's. It's a beauty. Warren, what are you finding the prices are at for the commons and for the stars? Orlando says that he completed 53 Bowman once. It's his favorite.
There you go. Those have grown on me. I used to not like them. And same thing with the 54s. But I kind of like them more now.
The
There's one.
McDLT did John's metabolism.
81. How about 81 Kellogg's?
There you go.
You know what's cool? I got this in a collection I bought out. It was at the bottom of a box. I'm not going to open it, but these cards are nice. Like if I could ever grade, there's a deal where I could grade this whole set, and I would do it because that's how nice these cards are. No cracks, centered. They're really in beautiful shape.
Not to tell you what to do, but they probably look good up on the wall too.
Yeah, it's in a box right here, but it's funny. It was sort of an afterthought in a collection I bought, and then when I opened it and looked at it, I'm like, wow, these things look like I'm back in '81.
Hodges says 59 Fleer Ted Williams. All 80 cards are a Hall of Famer.
It's funny because I do the bulk subbing for SGC. I get a ton of those subbed, and a lot of them have come back with like 7s and 8s for the people subbing them. I think I've even had 1 8.5 or 1 9 come back, and a lot of those grade pretty well.
I haven't even talked to you. Some lady contacted me. She's got an authentic Babe Ruth autograph photo. Can you believe that?
Yeah, but it's real.
Nobody's authenticated it for her, but she's sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to put money on if that comes back authenticated?
You never know, man.
I'm going to cross my fingers.
Well, listen, JSA was at the show I do a couple months ago, and someone brought a Babe Ruth ball, and it got the thumbs up. So they exist, obviously.
From your lips, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, who's next? I lost track.
I think it's you.
All right. I've been working very casually on collecting two sport players. I've told you that.
Yeah.
Bo, Dion, Danny Ainge, Brian Jordan. In fact, the chat, we've talked about this. You guys gave me a lot of good names, and I'll take as many as. These are guys that play two professional sports. That's awesome. It gives me hope. So what I'd like to do is to find out if there's a registry for two sport athletes, and if not, create a checklist of really what I'm going after. I don't really have any focus on this collecting, and I really want to collect with a checklist and have an idea of who I'm going after. Definitely Dave DeBuscher. In fact, I have rookie stars up there.
Yeah, there's quite a bunch of names. People don't think that list is that long, but it's not as short as certain people think it is either.
Well, because guys get known for one sport. Like Danny Ainge, a lot of people might know that he played for the Blue Jays, but he's known as a basketball player.
Yeah.
People think of him as
Chuck Connors. You go back even further.
I mean,
the rifleman.
I need a checklist.
Russell Wilson, Jim Thorpe. Here come. Don't forget.
Had to play professional is my rule. Had to play pro.
Michael Jordan's out.
And so is Russell Wilson. I clear it. Elway was drafted but never played for the Pro Bowl for the Yankees. Some of these guys I got to learn more about. I don't know.
Gene Conley, Tim Tebow, my son's favorite player.
Did Tebow ever make the show? Did they give him one?
No, but we saw him here in Syracuse quite a bit.
Yeah, Jim Thorpe definitely. Yeah, Jordan.
You could make that argument.
You could. I'll start with the major leaguers. If I finish that, I'll move down. But it's to me, it's just a fun PC, and if I could focus it a little bit and get some more names on there, definitely Brian.
Yeah, I'm learning a couple. I didn't realize Howie Schultz. I forgot about Vic Janowitz. Like, this list is longer than even I thought, and I knew it was not as short as other people.
Does wrestling count?
It's a sport. It's an Olympic sport.
Yeah, the Globetrotters. That's a gray area. If you only play the Washington Generals, does that count? But
yeah.
Some great names.
People are buying tickets to come in and see that.
That's fair. That's a good. Yeah. Anyway, so I'd like to do it. I have Drew Henson. If you remember, he played for the third base and quarterback. And I've got some Drew Henson cards just laying around. I need
DJ Dozier. Forgot about it. We can do a whole show on this to run the topic right here.
Maybe that's how I'll build my checklist. I'll just record the show and just put it down. Penn State running back Mookie. Dick Groat played basketball. I did not know that. He was the Pirates, right? I think so.
Yeah, in baseball. I didn't realize too that he played. Maybe vaguely. It sounds familiar.
This is like double jeopardy now. All the easy ones went.
Yeah. Now we're in the take two sport athletes, Alex, for 1,000. This is all the 1,000.
Bud Grant, good one. These are great. Okay.
Bud Grant, the coach of the Vikings? I didn't know he played for the Lakers.
I wonder if back then, the leagues were different. Yeah, these guys weren't.
Well, how about Bill Lambier? He played basketball and he was a boxer during basketball games.
That's a great one because he did it at the same time. That's even more impressive.
Yeah,
that's better than Dion doing the playoff game in the World Series and or the NFL game and the baseball game in the same day.
I'm gonna block your shot and punch you in the face.
Right. I hated those Piston teams. All right, sir, you're up.
All right, so this one, it's like I said, I wouldn't have to write this down, but it's something I do a pretty good job, but there's always room for improvement, right? I wrote down concentrated buying, and that's sort of a double-edged sword, meaning for my PC and for my show inventory, like really focus, and sometimes you get a little loose on the tracks, and then you buy some deals, and you're like, afterwards, you're like, I don't know if I should have did that, or it's not a great deal, or there's some stuff in there that's going to be tough to move. So a little more focused and like, I'm not saying I want to buy less, but I want to just be sort of focused on what I'm actually acquiring.
That's similar, I think, to what we were talking about at the beginning, cutting out maybe some of the stuff you don't want as much and
Yeah.
focusing more, being more precise.
Yeah, just kind of have more of a methodology to what I'm doing when I purchase stuff. I'm not saying I've lost anything, or I don't have any real buyer's remorse, but just kind of think about what I'm looking at purchasing.
Yes, I showed you that card that I just got. I probably spent a week looking at dozens of cards, just versions of that card, and I haven't done that in a while. So it's
Yeah, but I
fun.
don't think there's anything wrong to shop around or maybe compare conditions if they're graded. That's not. That's
That's
just
what I'm.
smart.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
I
what I
think that's
mean.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Is that your whole
No,
one?
I got more. Why you want me to keep going?
No, I got another one.
All
But
right,
this
go
is
ahead.
I'm gonna get made fun of. I know this. I want my Tippy Martinez ticket. The Tippy Martinez game, my first game ever. This is getting ridiculous. I've been looking for years. August 24th, 1983, Blue Jays at Orioles. I am looking for a ticket for that game. Thank you, Ruben. I It's my first game ever. It has importance in Oriole history. It's one of those pieces that I just,
Why do you think become a difficult acquire?
because Cal played in it. It was his birthday. It was part of the streak, and the Tippy 3 pickoffs in 1 inning. And I just don't think there was a ton of people at the game to begin with. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
it was just a game in
I
August.
think if there's any like dealers that just do tickets like in mass quantities, that's your best bet probably.
If anybody wants to spread on, I've asked everybody I can come across. So, but that's one of the goals. I'm going to keep working on it. And I think it's a great thing to collect if you can find your first ticket.
See, here's the sad part. I can't even tell you what my first game was. I was so young.
Really,
So I was probably 5 or 6. I don't even remember it. Like my grandfather probably took me to Yankee or Shea or both, and I don't remember. I mean, I remember being at a game that Thurman Munson was playing, but I don't remember the date. I just remember seeing them and hearing Bob Shepard saying, "Now batting Thurman Munson." But I don't remember. I wish I knew the date. How cool would that be? But
I see. I thought you were going to say the '70s set for collecting.
what?
On what set you were going to put together
Yeah.
for the Munson
No,
photo.
no, because I have the Thurman Munson cards. Like I don't need to do. The set is. I know people do their birth year. I'm not a fan of the '72 top set, so it like never really moved my meter. Other than it's the year I was born.
Okay,
So
but
that's cool. Not that
uh,
obviously not that Thurman passed, but that
yeah,
he has that ticket.
it's part of baseball history.
It is.
Mookie says I have one ticket from the '86 doubleheader with the cards at Shea, but not my first game.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still in the hunt for like a Robinson ticket. I wound up selling that World Series ticket. I got like a hell of an offer, so I sold it. So I'm back in the market for a Robinson ticket. I have some tickets. I'm just grabbing one that's near me.
John's actually getting up to go buy one right now.
So this is one that let's see the glare. This is the last ticket or the last game of 1984 from the Yankees. They were playing the Detroit Tigers at home, and I don't know if you can read. It was when Manley and Winfield were battling for the batting title, if you remember, in '84, when I believe Manley went 4 for 5 to win it, and he went 4 for 5 in this game. So here's the story about this ticket. I recently bought a collection, which was more autograph memorabilia. And so there was a box with a bunch of 8x10 sign, and on the laying flat on the bottom was this ticket.
That's,
Not in anything. It was loose. Wasn't even in a soft sleeve. It was just laying in the bottom of the box.
was it labeled on what it was?
Nope. I obviously had to figure that out.
Oh, you looked it up.
Yeah. Well, I knew. I'm not going to take complete credit. I looked at it and I saw September 30th, and I'm like, that's got to be one of the last games of '84. And I knew the whole Manley Winfield batting title chase. I'm like, if this is the last game, this ticket is kind of significant because that's what determined who was going to win the batting title. And when I looked it up, it was the last regular season game. So
Very cool. Ruben says we're officially back in the saddle. John mentioned Jackie.
I did that. There you go. Put that out. If you have that on your bingo card, dab that one out. You knew that was going to happen.
It was bound to happen. That picture might have been taken by a photographer by the name of Jerry Wachter, who was the Orioles photographer forever. Real nice guy I got to work with. Sadly passed away, but some of the best Orioles photos for 20, 30 years. But I don't know if he went back that far. All right. So my tippy ticket was the last one.
All right, is it my turn?
Next resolution is on you.
All right, this one I'm going to admit to. I'm cheating a little bit here because I already committed to something, so I kind of checked this one off. But I want to do more shows in 2025. And so the promoter who does the big fairground shows here in Syracuse, he's doing some Quality Inn hotel shows, 6 of them to be exact. So I signed up and locked into those. So I'm going to be adding 6 shows. So I cheated. Like, it's already, like, I signed up for it, and I'm putting it on like, hey, I want to do this. But I'm, in a sense, I already, like, did the test and taken credit for it before, after the fact. So
that's very cool. I give you credit for growing that side of your empire.
Well, I can't travel as much for shows, but these are at least local, and it'll just keep me out of my trouble, at least with certain people. Maybe not with my wife, but we'll see. How about this? Put up his Stooks' comment right here. That's a kind of a cool ticket of being a New York City kid. World Trade Center observation stuff from 1988. Can you imagine somehow if you had a ticket from what date that survived? Like, what
I don't know
would
if they had started opening for tours yet, or anything.
What if someone bought a ticket and just went in and left quick, and they had the ticket still? Like, if that ticket,
there's so many sad stories like that.
Yeah, like what would the value? Now it's kind of macabre and morbid, but I got to think the value on that would be significant just based on history.
I like this one. Great Mensch bingo. Well, I think we have Koufax, Berg, Ripken, Jeffries, Veritek, Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, who else would be on mine? Oh, Verite said Verite.
Yeah, that's funny. We should do that. My daughter was.
Everybody wins. Everybody's a winner.
My daughter was at dinner the other night playing adult bingo, things adults say.
Yeah, Brooklyn, Crown, and here they all come.
Right,
my small office.
I was about to say they're all you, but no.
Can't hang a picture on the wall.
That's hilarious. Yep, Ruth,
Beastie Boys, Billy Joel.
I got to tell you, you've covered most of my life at this point. And yours, Syracuse. Hey, congratulations on the football season. It was a nice turnaround.
Yeah. Wow, that was something else.
And I'm my brother's a Miami grad, and we're big Hurricane fans, so congrats on that.
Yeah, I was at that game. They were down 21-0 before they roared back.
Yeah, no. It was a big... I mean, they sat their quarterback.
No, not that game. No, I'm talking about the Syracuse game.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that's probably... I think Stooks is the ticket guy, like the like below the surface ticket guy.
So get me my ticket. On the card shop. Did somebody say Hoosiers?
Well, there's a Cuse tie in there. 87, the Keith Smart shot at the end broke a lot of Syracuse fans' hearts.
Well, there you go. All right, it's my turn now, and I'm going to piggyback on yours. I actually want to try to get to some more shows. It slowed down the last year or two for me. Just obviously made the national, and I do try to make Chantilly, but I definitely was going to more shows a couple of years back. And if I can do it, and time-wise, and family-wise, and financially, I would definitely like to get to more shows in this area. And not as a dealer, opposite of you. I'd like to go to try to meet people and my number one resolution and use that and bust through and see more shows and get out there and meet more people in the hobby. So definitely.
Yeah, so you can tell where our motivation. You want to meet people, and I just want to take their money.
Fair enough.
Just kidding. I mean, obviously, I want to make sales, but I mean, some of my best shows, all joking aside, some of my best shows haven't been my biggest earning ones, but I did okay, but had great conversations during the course of it. So there's something to be said about that.
Come party with us in Strongsville this year, Rubens. I'll throw that invitation to John as well.
Come by and pick me up. I'll jump in the car and pay for some gas. Let's go.
Definitely meet more people. So now that we've done some of this, I want to hear some of the stuff from the chat room while we're talking. Is what other resolutions do you guys have in the hobby? We've thrown out a whole bunch of ideas. You got another one ready?
I got one more if you want me to just get rid of it.
Yeah, go for it.
And this is with some of my content. I don't do a ton on YouTube, videos. I mean, there's stuff on YouTube, but it's usually the podcasts that have been done, and then I post them secondarily or after the fact. I want to do more interactive stuff. So more content that's not a podcast, just me sharing a mail day, me sharing something off topic, maybe not even hobby related. Hey, look, let's talk about this, or this is life, right? Because, we love the hobby. That's all our common threads, but we also are human and have other common interests, right? So I want to do more not just podcasts, but more interactive stuff where people can, comment and more in the moment rather than record a podcast one night with a guest, which are great, and I love them. I've done them for now 6 years, and I wouldn't change anything about them. But maybe something else that's a little more live. Hey, we're going live, we're doing like this, but even more.
I was going to say, we're on a very similar show to what you're describing.
Yeah. But a little bit more of that.
A little bit more of you, a little bit less of me, and that would be the show.
No, I mean, in addition to, I'm not trying to cut anybody. Just I don't do as much of that as other content creators do, and I need to somehow find a way to make some time.
John could become the next Walter Cronkite.
I'm starting to look like him, I think.
John is wanting an OnlyFans account, it sounds like.
Are those free?
I couldn't tell you. Orlando says for his resolution, more focus and picky with card purchases and to consolidate my collection. Hearing that from a lot of people, John. A lot of consolidation this year. A lot of people.
Yeah, you know what? I hope that's the case because you know what? I can't buy as much as I did. Goes out to the chat room. Off-grade, vintage stars and semi-stars. I'm not talking about stuff I'm going to submit for grading it, but just off-grade stuff so I can have it in my vintage boxes at the show for my customers that come by. It used to be easier to buy that stuff, and it's getting a little more difficult. So all this consolidation talk, I'm hoping some of these folks, not even just in the chat, but just in general, maybe it presents an opportunity to pick up some of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Warren's saying the same thing. Well said, Orlando. I have to quit buying on a whim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a whim buyer. So
how much does a whim cost?
It can cost you a few bucks every now and then.
Larry says change from being a hoarder to maybe hoarding less. Yeah. I think that's fair. Sounds like it'll be a buyer's market in 2025. Well, I think that's what you were saying, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, even for, whether it be for dealers or people on the other side of the table, right? I mean, I went on eBay the other day, and I don't go on eBay all the time, and some of the vintage stuff I see was actually really affordable. Yeah. It's come down, compared to what it was at one point. So,
it's funny. I think, how can I phrase this? I think the market is starting to reset itself, but the market is not one thing. I think some cards that are supposed to be higher are holding their value. Some cards that were overpriced are coming back down. I think everything's setting to where it should be. Not that the whole market is moving down or the whole market is moving up, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
My daughter took me thrifting today. I got away with $20, but we got a great end table with a lamp built in. Warren says, "Good night, all. Got to run. It's been fun. I hope you're not seeing other shows behind our back, Warren."
This is a great comment from Mike Steve right here too. Sell cards I never look at. Let someone else enjoy them. Then I can get buy me a bigger dollar card that maybe you'll be looking at on a regular basis. A great point, right? Stuff that sits in boxes, like sure you can pull them out, right? But I'm like him. I like to see my stuff as much as possible.
Mark Hoyle's resolution is to get onto a show with Orlando.
Call in the hobby hotline tomorrow.
I set you up for that. Where couldn't somebody see Orlando?
That's like that was like Stockton to Malone.
Right?
I just slammed it. Yeah, it's me, Dr. Jim, and Orlando tomorrow in Hobby. After a little bit of a holiday season hiatus, we're back in the saddle.
Yep, 11 a.m. Eastern on Bench.
Yeah, it's going to be a year in review show. We're going to talk about all the big stories of 2024.
Join us, Orlando says.
Yep.
Okay, it's funny we're talking about this before we run out of time. Oh, there goes my phone. You know who thinks it's funny? Google. I think my last resolution is to schedule smarter. I need to not do a show the morning after I do a night show. Stuff like that. If I need to pick up my kids, I don't want to stress the whole time I'm in the carpool line that I need to make it back. I need to give myself more time in some of that stuff. So I need to use my pie of time and schedule that better. And that's
easier said than done. In your defense, it's easy. Sometimes I think it's easier said than done.
It might be, but I can. We can all try to get better at things, and that's certainly one of my things that I'd like to improve on. So that's a real resolution.
No, that's a good one.
All right, let's have some fun as we finish up here. Stu, I'm buying one exhibit card per week already into February. Does that mean you're buying in advance? I
was going to say, does that mean he bought like 8 cards already?
Right, that's not one per week. That's just buying cards, dude.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's what we do. That's fun. So, you said you've picked up stuff for your show inventory?
Yeah.
Anything good?
No, some vintage stuff, but it used to be easier. Like it's like I have to really work at like finding the stuff more than before. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everything shouldn't be a layup all the time. It's not, that's not necessarily fair, but it's getting harder to buy certain things and so but I have added some new stuff. Typically if I buy new stuff, that's 100% show inventory because I'm
right.
I'm only keeping like anything that's PC is probably on the vintage side of the house.
I don't think I've ever seen you buy a collection for personal use or sniper and hunt for one card for your show. You're much more deliberate for your personal stuff.
Yeah, I tend to like the big cards. I kind of go into the national with that list.
Yeah.
So,
or at least
knowing that I'm going to pay a few more bucks probably than if I just waited and not bought it.
Or at least know what price range you're in, because one of your cards, didn't you buy like the week before the National?
Yeah, thanks to you.
Jackie, yeah.
That was the Hank Aaron.
I thought Jackie you got not at before the National also.
Yeah, I did, but it was quite a bit before. The Aaron was like the month before.
See, I remember. All right, so we're at 55, dude. 110 weeks.
I know, that's nuts.
We've crossed officially into our first 2025.
Yep.
So we started in 2023, right? Or 2022? Did I do that
I think was it 22? We have to go back and look at the archive.
2022, 2023, 2024, and now 2025.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, so... anybody have topic ideas during the week? Don't be afraid to shoot them to us.
Yeah, man, this is, I talked about being interactive. This is one of those shows, man. We say it all the time. This chat room is the greatest. Just because we're not on doesn't mean our ears or our eyes aren't open. Send us a message. Hey, what do you want to hear us talk about? Or maybe what you don't want us to talk about. But either Either way, right? So it's the more you do these shows, Danny, and you listen. I give credit where credit's due. You come up with probably 85% of these topics, but it's getting harder. Like and we're now in the 55s. It's like, did we do that? I can't remember because we're old too. So like, it's getting a little trickier to like come up with something we haven't done before.
Well,
So
I like when we think of a topic and we can't remember if we talked about it on camera or off camera.
yeah, that's the other thing. Because we've had those conversations. Did we actually do a show, or did we just do it off the record show?
And here you go. Ruben says, honestly, for
There you
25,
go.
I like to see more guests on this show.
So I'm not opposed. We've had guys. We've had, last week or the last couple weeks ago when I wasn't here.
Yeah.
People called. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, we'll find some more people and bring them on. Appreciate
Yeah.
that, Ruben.
Some Mensches, some guest Mensches.
Yeah, somebody.
Benches off the benches. We'll just
Mensches on the benches. That's a good thing. Hanukkah's over. Christmas is over. New Year's over. Get everything cleaned up out of your house.
Well, here's an interesting question.
Yeah.
What's the shelf life? Like, how many days after the holiday, if you haven't seen anybody like before, can you say like Happy Hanukkah or Merry Christmas?
Larry David says
What's the
3
rule?
days.
It's 3 days according to Larry David.
Larry David, I think says 3 days.
All right. So you can say Happy New Year tomorrow, one last day.
I don't know. Today's the 3rd.
Well, the 4, like but it turns 1 at midnight. I don't know. That's a weird one.
I think you can say it to whoever you want.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Say goodnight, John.
Good night, John.